Hello friends, this video on chemistry in everyday life part 10 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Let's talk about the types of antibiotics. We know what are antibiotics. We learned some history of antibiotics. Let's learn the types of antibiotics. There are actually there are various types. One basic you can have is cidal and static. See, cidal means killing effect. For example, homicidal word, if you see the person who kills, cidal is the killing effect, right? And static means you just stop it. Stop it means inhibitory effect, right? Stop the functioning. So either you ask a person to stop what he is doing if that thing is bothering you, or you kill the person. Same thing. Either you ask the bacteria to stop what this bacteria is doing, the static effect, or if the bacteria is not responding, kill the bacteria. Right? So based on this, we have two different type actually. You can be bactericidal or bacteriostatic. So drugs which will ask bacteria to stop is bacteriostatic. Drugs which will kill the bacteria, bactericidal, are called bactericidal. For example of this bactericidal is penicillin or ofloxacin. For bacteriostatic we have erythromycin, or you can have this compound chloramphenicol. There's so many other drugs in the market which are bactericidal or bacteriostatic. This is just to tell you that cidal is the one which has a killing effect, the one which kills the bacteria, bactericidal drugs, and then the one which asks bacteria to stop what it is doing is bacteriostatic drug. Also based on the coverage, this is one classification, right? Based on the range of coverage of this medicine, you can classify as broad range or narrow range or limited, right? So if this drugs can kill thousands of different types of bacteria, it will be a broad range. If it can kill some hundreds of bacteria, different kind, I'm just guessing the number, it's a narrow range. Or if it can kill only particular type of bacteria, it is called limited range, right? And different types of bacteria drugs are required because you don't want to kill all the kind of bacteria always. Sometimes you need limited range of bacteria also. So that is something which doctor will prescribe based on your condition, right? So antibiotics which kills or inhibits a wide range of gamma positive and gamma negative bacteria, they are called broad spectrum antibiotics. See, what is this gram positive and gram negative? See, this is the first step for identification of bacteria. This was invented by Hans Gram, and this is based on the property of cell wall. So if a bacteria is strained by the dark blue gram staining, it is called a gram positive. If it is not strained, right, it doesn't retain the color or the crystal violet color of the gram staining, it is gram negative. So this is gram positive and gram negative. These are the first broad classification of the bacteria, because any bacteria will be either gram positive or gram negative, correct? Either they will absorb the crystals, the dark blue color, it will become the gram positive. It won't absorb, it will become gram negative, correct? This is the broad classification of bacteria. So when you say broad range, that means any bacteria it impacts, it is called broad classification, right? That is, they are effective against both gram positive or gram negative. Narrow is, here's an and here, narrow is either gram positive or gram negative. It will impact either only positive ones or the negative ones. So they are narrow antibiotics. Limited one, if they are effective only against single organism. single bacteria type or disease, they are called limited spectrum antibiotics. Correct? Broad spectrum antibiotic, any bacteria it will hit. Narrow, limited, only either positive grams or negative grams, and this limited is only single organism. Correct? So if you take some examples, this penicillin G is my narrow spectrum. Correct? If you talk about the broad spectrum, I have here ampicillin or amoxicillin. They are my narrow broad spectrum. Correct? So these are my some examples. In fact, chloramphenicol is also my broad spectrum. Please note that when you talk about this penicillin, right, the patient has to be tested first for the sensitivity or allergy to penicillin before it is administered, because for some patient this penicillin, they are allergic to penicillin. Please note this part. So I was telling that this chloramphenicol, let me write here, chloramphenicol, they are also my broad spectrum antibiotics. This was chloramphenicol was found in 1947. Right? So this chloramphenicol is easily absorbed by the gastrointestinal tract of the human body, and it can easily be given. So it is also used in case of typhoid. Also for dysentery, fever, you have meningitis, pneumonia or urinary infection. In a lot of cases this chloramphenicol is given. Correct? So there are other broad spectrum antibiotics. If you talk about this limited one, then I have a antibiotic dicydizorine. This is only towards certain cancerous cell. This is one limited antibiotic. Thank you. Visit examfear.com to watch more videos, attempt free online tests, get free study materials, find tutors and mentors, and much more. Thanks once again.